Douglas Murray over there. Should governments, as a principle, listen to people who protest, listen to a group of students when they protest?
Sure, of course. I mean, any protest is worth listening to. But, I mean, it's what you're saying that matters. I mean, Tessa is denying the fact that the Labour Party is split, actually, between realists on this matter and fantasists, or otherwise known as populists. We have had, for years, young people have had a populist lie told to them by the Liberal Democrat Party, which is that they were going to get into power and you are not going to have to pay for your university education. That is not true. And the reason why we have to deal with this seriously is because you've just seen what happened when populism of the kind that Tessa Jowell is trying to woo you into again happens. You cannot have university education for free. Somebody will have to pay. Now, who pays and where is what matters. But for goodness sake, do not fall for the idea, once again, from a party of opposition, after your votes, for the lie that there will be a period where you don't have to pay for education or where it'll all be sunny uplands, because it won't be.
Would you think... mitigate the effects as much as...
So you're blaming the Tories? You're blaming the Tories?
Who wants them? Who wants students to pay more money for university? Nobody. But there is a situation, a real situation, which people have to work something out. Now, to pretend that you're, as it were, more virtuous than anyone else, you've got a greater halo because you're the Lib Dems and you never wanted this. No, nobody wants students to have to pay more. But in reality, the money has to come from somewhere.
Simon Hughes, are you blaming the Conservatives?
Unlike the NUS.
What about the NUS?
I've never worked with
Can I say, this is an interesting thing, though, because the NUS routinely... I'd like to know the answer to... The NUS never has a president who ends up as a Conservative MP. Everyone who's the head of the NUS ends up getting a safe Labour seat somewhere. The last one did already. It's perfectly predictable. And I think students have to be aware of the fact that the NUS is not representative of student opinion.
Well,
it is representative...
I think
a particular Labour Party loyalist left-wing view. And I wish you would just be frank about that, because there are a lot of other students who don't feel that you speak for them.
You're a member of the Labour Party?
I am a member of the Labour Party, but what I am speaking on...
As was your predecessor, and his predecessor, and the one before that.
If you let me finish, Douglas. What I'm speaking on behalf of are the tens of thousands of students who last week made a serious point in London. Frankly, I speak to thousands of students every single week, and to suggest to them that this is a fairer deal is utterly absurd. I think it was right.
Represent conservative-minded students at all, Aaron?
Well, if I meet... I mean, I have met...
You feel you do?
I have met Conservative students who also disagree with this policy as well. They believe that...
Good evening.
The problem I have with increases in tuition fees is you can't deny that the poorest students are going to be priced out of it. I mean, they're not going to be able to afford to go to university.
No. But they pay back later. They pay back later.
Even with the funding in place, it's going to deter people from wanting to go to university.
It's about... No, but there's a point there about
you can't deny someone the opportunity of going to university, especially when they have the skills.
Can I pick up on this quickly? Because this is a very important one. Social mobility in the last few decades in this country has gone down. If you notice, when I was at university, this was very evident. In the 1950s... At
Oxford, I believe. You went to Eton and then Oxford,
I had a scholarship to both... excuse me. If you really want to play the populist card, I went to state schools, got a scholarship to Eton and then got a scholarship to Oxford. I think that's OK. I think I'm allowed to do that without being vilified. I worked hard and did it. And look, the point is that the generation that I was at Oxford, it was very noticeable that these were middle-class students, like myself. It was middle-class students who had the opportunity to go to university. Working-class students, less and less. That had been the pattern at Oxford for decades. It had been declining. Now, the new proposals, if they work, and we obviously have to hope they do, will actually be the first situation since the post-war period where more working-class people will be able to go, because middle-class students will have to pay. They will have to pay. And working-class people will be able to go for free to university, and that is a good thing.
The truth is, Douglas,
I just wanted to make the point that you, have said you're listening to us, and yet the whole time that anyone who doesn't agree with Douglas Murray says anything, you sit there and shake your head. How can you sit there and say you're going to listen to all of us when you can't even listen to any of us?
I don't think I did say that, and I still reserve the right to shake my head if I disagree with you.
Yeah, but if you say you're going to represent the whole of us, I don't really think...
I'm not representing anyone.
but you can't.
Terrible mistake.
You can't- if
I'm not
you're-
after your vote. I'm right. I don't need your vote.
Douglas
You just-
runs
you
the...
just-
I can't get it. I can't get it.
Yeah, but you just said you're not representing.
No,
me.
I'm not
That's a bit-
representing anyone. I'm a writer.
He runs a centre
Yeah,
for social
but-
cohesion and
I'm a
he's...
writer in a think tank. We don't have to get votes. It's just one of the tragedies of the...
Okay, right, let's move on from that point. Just a reminder that so tuition fees will rise to £6,000 with a cap of £9,000. Douglas Murray, do you support the idea? Do you accept that there has to be a cap?
Yes, and look, I mean, there are all sorts of policies that could be done. It's possible that some of the universities will have to privatise if there's not another solution. That's one way this will go.
So you support a cap?
Yes. Look, I just think that it is an important moment, as it were, for a lot of people here, is that what Ed said about Labour in the 1990s, I think you should, if I can say so, reflect on yourselves about the Liberal Democrats and other parties at the moment. Parties in opposition make you unreal promises. You should be aware of that. You should not fall for it. Now, I just would ask, whatever your political affiliations, I'm not a party political person, but whatever your party political affiliations, I dislike them all equally. But
Some more equal than others.
but what I would just want is if people say to you, hang on, if people say to you, and if student leadership and others say to you that it is possible for free education and all these sort of things, they are lying to you. They are lying to you. People
Who said patronising? Who said patronising? Ladies of blonde hair. Let's just
People
go.
have to give you
Douglas Murray, hang on.
answers.
Why is that patronising?
I think we're all fully aware of, oppositional parties and what they're going to try and promise us, but we make an informed decision as to who we vote for. We do. And I know we were let down by the Liberal Democrats, we were, but hopefully, in the future they might. My main issue is that you've got a massive deficit at the moment, and I'm a graduate, and I'm paying £50 a month interest, and I'm paying back £13 a month of my salary because that's all I earn because I'm a teaching assistant. So I don't understand where you think this massive amount of money is even going to come back, because there's not enough jobs at the moment that for graduates even to have.
Douglas,
It sounds like under our system you might well not be paying back at all.
Douglas, quickly.
What I'm trying to point out is that some people on the marches today, I saw them I work in the area, coming up with unreal solutions themselves. We have to have a free education and so on. What I'm saying is, if we're going to have this debate properly, it has to be done by people coming up with solutions, and free education is not a solution.
Okay,
it is not a possibility or a reality. So what are you adding to the debate?
Let's go. Let's get some more voices on there.
Why is free education not a possible solution?
Because
We had free education for...
Someone has to pay for it.
Because taxpayers, many of them with very low incomes, end up paying. And the question is, what is the fairest solution?
But they paid for your education.
I agree with Douglas Murray when he states that somebody does have to pay for our university fees. I just want to know why Nick Clegg promised that there wouldn't be any university fees when everybody clearly knows that somebody has to pay, and did he just ask the state the pledge and put forward that idea just to get his foot into Parliament?
OK, let's get the lady next to you. Hi there. Douglas, got to be very quick.
The irony of it is, of course, that the voting systems the Lib Dems want to bring in would mean we had more hung parliaments, more coalition governments. There'd be more compromise of the kind the Lib Dems obviously so love. So we must hope they don't get it.
Yeah.